All right, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry and all. I am starting to think that I should start to do these recordings in the morning before my day goes to shit. At the time of doing this recording, some unconfirmed or unspecified reports of us going into yet another full lockdown. It is Friday, the 7th of May. So that's where we are, and I'm a bit annoyed and irritated, but what can I do? What can you do? Keep a positive attitude and do the best that you could do. So, regardless of the time of the day that you are tuning in, and I do appreciate you tuning in to me to listen to this rant, I do wish you that sentiment of promise that you have a first thing in the morning. The newspaper today was a bit depressing for me. It's just COVID this, COVID that, COVID the other, and the fake reports of the entire family being wiped out by COVID. Now, of course, as you know, my stance on this, COVID is a virus. We are able to get over it. And I also said that no more rants will be dedicated to it. So, and on top of that, it was fake news. The entire family wasn't wiped out. My condolences to the family, though. The father and the son did die, but the entire family wasn't wiped out. And while I'm at it, I'll just repeat that last statistical fact that birth control fails between 1 and 5%. But many of you listening do or have used birth control. COVID kills 0.01% of those that it infects. So it's really time to settle down. It really, really is. You have a higher chance of dying in a car accident than dying from COVID. And 80% of the people that get COVID have a milder symptoms. You probably had it and thought it was a common cold. It's time to move on and stop exchanging death for death. But that's all I would say. I think 2 minutes is 1 minute too much, but that is what was in the newspaper. So, quite frankly though, what that got me thinking about is that I wish, oh how I wish I had the capital so that I could simply produce a line of cleaning products like Philomena Alexis Batiste. For those of you all who don't know, once upon a time there was a TV station called Gael. Gael was founded and run by a local personality, Errol Fabian. And it was designed specifically for local content. And it failed because Trinidadians do not like anything local, unfortunately. And it comes all the way from the top to the bottom. If we could modernize a building and break it down, we will. It will not be preserved. The first thing they did when the waterfront was built is run into it and abandon the Red House, and then upgraded the Red House at a tune of too much over a period of time that was too long. So it's a pervasive feature of our culture. Well, I don't know if it's good, if it's bad, if it's right, if it's wrong. I know the museums are dilapidated and underused, but it is what it is. So, not sure how I got there, but I do wish that I had the capital Philomena Alexis Batiste, right? So on Gael, found myself back, proud of me because I really lost myself there, and I didn't even post the recording. So on Gael there was this program 6:30 to 7 o'clock, whereby a cleaner by the name of Philomena Alexis Batiste would be sitting down talking to Miss Kailash, a very well put together lady of mixed upper crust lineage, so a white Indian, and she would talk with an English accent because she did spend some time in England, and she developed a hybrid of the Trinidadian English accent, something that would sound a bit similar to this one, or a hybrid of the Prestige School accent. And it would be funny because she will try to talk as ghetto as she possibly could, and the other one would be like, "Oh my God, Philomena," and yeah. So from that, as she was a cleaner, She started this line of cleaning products. You may possibly see it in groceries on Charlotte Street and Extra Foods. It's a picture with the lady with a gold teeth, and yeah. Unfortunately, the program went to hell because Errol Fabian conceptualized the character, but Philomena brought it to life, and the character was unscripted. So she wanted rights to the character so that she can take it and perform and do what she wanted to do. And Mr. Fabian did not want to give said rights, and they went to court. And while they were going to court, Philomena could not actually be used, and then, well, hence the reason why I had to go into a 3-minute dissertation for many of you that would have no idea who that person is. Yeah? But if I had the capital, I would definitely open that cleaning company and I would call it the anti-COVID option. And, I would sell it to the government in particular. And I will go to the media to pressure the government into hiring me and telling them things like how they have all of these outbreaks in the police station that dealing with the Venezuelans. I would be like, I am shocked and appalled that the new Minister of National Security, Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, has turned down all attempts for us to meet with him towards fumigating that station to prevent this. And we are just trying to do our part. You know that we have offered these services at a fraction of the cost as to what we would. We are barely making them. The margins are thin. The margins are thin. And he is just not listening to us. And look at what is happening. Yep. But I don't have that money. And you know what it reminds me of? I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Dominic Hadid. That is the founder of Blue Waters. That is supposedly coming from some kind of artisanal spring or well that's somehow located right there in St. Helena by the airport. But I would wonder if you sit down around your family table and say, hey, you're going to sell water, if you will get support. But he sat down around his family table and he said, hey, you're going to sell water, and he get their support. And on top of selling water, he also selling soft drink, which is juicy. And then he went and he got the contract from Pepsi. And then, you know what he did? He went and he got the contract to supply KFC with his soft drinks exclusively, and Coca-Cola lost that contract. So he just making all kinds of money from selling water. And he's selling more water than SM Jalil that have Viva. Sparkling water, but we're drinking Blue Waters. And just to add salt in the wound for Coca-Cola, with their water, Oasis, he went on to create his own line, and now we'd have cranberry fusion water. So I always remember that. And that is where the story in the newspaper took me. Now, it's unfortunate that the police officers are falling victim to COVID in the line of their duties. I really think that is unfair to them. It is unfair that the borders are that porous. It is unfair that the Coast Guards are not able to deal with it properly. And it is also curious that the police officers are developing COVID, but the alleged citizens that are helping the smugglers evade law enforcement are not. But that's a different story that you'll probably only get if you go down to those areas. I'm not going there. Nobody send me. Plus, it's like a lockdown. You would think that the media will go there, but they don't really care, in my opinion. They don't really care. It's just a means of getting money through advertising. But the police are protesting that they really, really want their station fumigated. Now, since, as I explained to you, that the time of this recording is the time of the second lockdown, proper lockdown. Details still unconfirmed at the time that I am recording this. I think now is the time to repatriate all of our citizens. If it is, we jackass the scene, as our beloved Keith Rowley says. If we have jackass the scene, then let us benefit from the jackassing and bring back everybody at this time, quarantine whoever, and yes, the parallel healthcare system, my ass, but add another one of the 111 hospitals that we have, because the parallel healthcare system I don't think is included in any of the 111. They refurbish a part of Cora, and they refurbish another building in DB or wherever it is. So it's not necessarily one of the 111 structures that have established for healthcare. So yeah, make another one COVID-ish, bring back everybody, and when it is we get over this, use this time as well, lock down everything, lock it down, lock it up, lock it up, and use this time to develop a proper border situation. I don't know if it is yet to get a little oil rig and put out there and have some officers just watching at Venezuela or wherever, I don't really business. But organize that and open back up the country and let us move as normal. Explain to the people the statistics, the facts that they most likely will get it at some point, and life will go on. And stop having people so frightened within themselves. Unless you're old and you have comorbidity, but remember, he and will get it. He's a COVID conqueror at this point. So anyway, the next story again, tickles me, stimulates me in ways that I enjoy. It mirrors what I would have spoken about in the last rant. Yet another Trinidadian company. The last rant spoke about Republic Bank Holdings, or Republic Holdings is their correct name. But another company, Tattle, did the same thing. They went and they acquired another insurance company in Barbados called Trident. And now Trident's profit is Tattle's profits, and just like that, Tattle making money. And I just want that so bad. It's just like when Agostini took over the other company and paid their own money. That is the only way you could be in charge of yourself. You have one life, uno life that we are aware of. Even if it is you reincarnate and you come back as God knows what, it doesn't really seem that your consciousness does reincarnate with you. It just be like you're hitting a big ass reset button. So you have this life, this reality. And I think we should all really strive to be able to make our own choices. You don't have to be rich, but you have to position yourself in a kind of way that you could really do whatever the fuck you want to do. Even if it is you living in the bush, right? Let me say like Rash or T.I. Oh Lord, I wonder if you know who that is. Rash or T.I. is the founder of soca. He used to sing calypso, and he turned to God, and he went up in the bush, and he lived with all his family and whatnot, right? Nyla Blackman come from him. So remember, which has squeaky voice, she say, "I love you, Lord Shorty, bing bang 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 bang." Right. So that's who she was referring to. Yeah. So got to like. Anyway, don't know when I'm gonna go a party again. She's oh God, fat. I want to wang outside. I want to push it in the sunlight, Anyway. Did have a song with that, when last year bring the bam bam in tongue to drag on the ground. God, I have feeling it. All the truth be told, if it isn't had a carnival now, I wouldn't go because I'll be fretting. It's not like if I want to go carnival and then Ash Wednesday car breed. But oh God, we just had to put things in place so I could at least get a borrowed in my preference. Anyway, that was a serious digress. To be in charge of your own destiny, I think, is the ultimate goal. So with him up in the bush, nobody was telling him what to do. Nobody does tell these people what to do, because they have money. But you could have influence, you could have power, you could have other things to batter. Just be valuable enough that you could turn your own key, walk your own way, pave your own road, something, fry your own fish. Yeah. And I wish that our ministries and our, what do they call these things? Regional corporations, anybody that is getting government handouts except the disabled and the elderly. I really wish even they could have, but it's not like an expectation of them, from me at least. But take the money and invest it and sell something and stop with this handout shit. Imagine if you could give money back, like solar power. When you're putting your solar power, you just give energy back to the grid. Imagine if you could give money back to the country instead of always taking. If it is you having sex with somebody and they only taking from you, how long that sexual relationship does continue for? Even your children that is parasites that you bring into the world, how long that is going for? Oh gosh, man. And the spending just be so ridiculous. How it is a sign saying I love book will cost $289,000 in this time. Oh jeez and ages, it had $250,000 adults and all of we catching me mothers. They could have give all of we $1 and some cents. We could have buy a bottle water instead of the I love book sign. How all you could be indiscriminately thieving at this point, and even if it's not the politicians thieving, the contractors, how it is all you could thief with all you don't want no kind of oh god, oh god, no kind of dumpling about yourself at all. 289,000 for a fucking sign. And what is you doing with them kind of profits? At least tell me you're doing something with it now. Don't tell me you're driving a Audi or a BMW or your house like Pastor Coffee on, because the Lord bless him. David, come now, man. $289,000, yo. And that's only a part of the project, huh? The whole project is to, what's the word they use? Renovate, revamp, some fancy word. The aesthetics of the Buku area. Now, there are some things in there that I expect, we got to touch the pockets, like to reinforce the seawall. And Lord, I really hope they're doing it properly, yeah? Because even the Shagaramas boardwalk, it's kind of falling apart-ish right now. And I really hoping it's just because of lack of maintenance and not shitty construction. So, yes, the reinforcing and the entire project will cost $7 million. But if it is the sign alone cost $289,000, and Scarborough Hospital had started off with one figure and then it doubled, and then it had all of these overruns, and then on top of that, the people and them that run in Tobago mainly can't even decide who win the Kiss Me Ass elections because they can't figure out that they need to divide the seats so that they do have these kind of tie blocks. I mean, it's really looking as bleak as the weather is right now during the recording. It looking bleak. I wish we could have take back we money from them. I wish we could have, when it is this is $2 plus VAT, I decline paying the VAT. Something, We could be like American. Where is your supervisor? Something. But anyway, then, I learned today that there's a UE Toronto. But I wasn't motivated enough to Google what UE Toronto is, what it does do, where they come from, because I figure it would be like falling down a rabbit hole for information, because none of our local websites does really be as informative as we would like them to be, and it doesn't be maintained, and it doesn't be easy to navigate, and the information does be wrong, and I just really wasn't feeling it. But Shaggy would be performing at a benefit at the UE Toronto, and it's the second time that he's doing that. And unlike UE Trinidad or the Caribbean, where the only information I see from them is that they want to raise fees to meet the shortfall from what the government is giving to them, and that they're meeting with the government to get money, and they're waiting for the gate handout, and they're not releasing this unless they get the money. That university hosts this benefit/award ceremony, and the proceeds go towards offsetting campus expenses for the year. Now, interestingly, Trinidad also have that, UE all-inclusive, and they just make a couple $1 million from that. Of course, they didn't get to have one last carnival, or this carnival, because of Corona, but I guess maybe the money done. And then I saw the Sargassum seaweed. I don't understand what does make it travel across the ocean and, come on the shore. But I mean, it's the water and maybe dead or it floats. It's not like a mystery. Oh my God, this is inconceivable. It's just that I don't know the specifics, nor do I care. It's nasty and I don't like it. Hate to see that on the beach. And I find, prisoners should be ready on hand, or the The Venezuelans, when they come over, the first thing you need to do is get a garbage bag and start cleaning. And depending on the quality of the work that you do on the beach, is whether or not you will get to stay. If it is we dissatisfied with your work, you give you 2 more beaches to clean. And if we still dissatisfied, we could carry you back. No, we ain't carrying you back. We just drop you back. You know, on the same boat. Just push it out. Shh. Okay, a coconut tree or something and just shh. Something like that. But that would be a crime against humanity, and you might end up in the international, some international court or something that I only recently learned existed because they're still investigating the genocide, and France in Rwanda, and France liability for it, and even in today's papers, as a matter of fact, some child general get charged with crimes against humanity for forced impregnation and recruiting other child soldiers, and just the all wrong horrible things that he did during that period. But he started off as a child soldier himself, so I think he just excelled at playing the game that was given to him. But I don't know the details of it. That was their decision, and of course, you have to do something so that you could curb unsavory and unwarranted behavior. So, nevertheless, the Sargassum seaweed is here, but the only reason why I took note of that is because it is called the Golden Tide. Isn't that a beautiful name? The Golden Tide, just like a golden shower. For those of you that don't know what's a golden shower, it is something done for erotic reasons whereby someone urinates on someone else. Of course, urine is apparently always supposed to be yellow, and it's called a golden shower. Love these euphemisms, Love these euphemisms. Anyway, there was only one good thing in the paper. Oh, before I get to that, because I want to close with that. Other than that, some sporting events getting cancelled across the world. We know that the IPL gets suspended because, of course, India is dying and from COVID. It's still 1% of the population, but 1% of India population is like the whole of Trinidad. So, yeah, so they pulled them out. Tokyo canceled the Olympics, obviously. And South Africa canceled their World Cup qualifying matches, obviously. So, a bunch of those stuff going on. Trinidad and Tobago footballers and coaches not getting paid, and they believe that they're being discriminated against and they're important too, and yada yada. And yeah, that's just about it. Some horse racing cancelled, a bunch of stuff cancelled, postponed or delayed or restricted for obvious reasons. Yeah, till we get a hold on this virus. Now, this might contradict what I said earlier. In terms of, yes, I do support the constricting and the cancelling and all of that. And I keep saying that we should go back to normal with COVID. To be clear, I'm saying that Trinidad should start to go back to normal with COVID. The reason being is because we are a tiny island of 1.1 million people and we are isolated and the borders are closed. We therefore need to bring everybody home, sanitize everybody, wash everybody, all who's sick, you get them sick, tell people how to deal with the virus, tell people the reality, and then get back to work as normal with the borders closed. When the rest of the world get a handle on it and COVID becomes just like, I don't know, let's say HIV, I'm looking for a serious one that we just live with, and let's say maybe COVID become like HIV, then you open back the borders completely. But the way that we do it, people die, no, that is what I mean. That shit need to stop. So the one good thing in the papers is there's somebody called a Green Army, and what they decided to do, they're an NGO, and what they decided to do was to grow produce. So they walked around their neighborhood and all of the abandoned lots of land, they got in contact with the owner and they started planting produce for those that are in need in the community, which they will deliver. And they're not using pesticides or any growth anything, so it's all natural, and they're giving it to people that are unemployed and stuff right now, not to mention occupying the same people that are unemployed, children that are only doing a little few hours of school online and all of these things, and they are also franchising the model to other communities. And I think that that is amazing. And when you all assist me in getting rich, that's the kind of shit I would be doing. Yeah, that is amazing. Now, for those of you that hear me that are in a capacity to support them, you can do so by calling them on 723-5528. That's 723-5528 or 316-5444. 316-5444. Or you can look them up on the World Wide Web, greenarmytt.com. That is greenarmytt.com. And may they all inspire you to do the best that you can do in your situation. And as someone wise told me today, yes, a lot of situations are negative. Your attitude will make a difference, and it's good to have a positive attitude. To add to that, remember, positive can't exist without negative, so it's good to give everything its time and its place and its own usefulness, but not to let anything overrun you, so to speak. So I do hope that this reaches you in a good place, or it leaves you in a good place, and I thank you sincerely for tuning in to this edition of Richard's Rant. Subscribe to the vibe and comment towards our betterment. Vibes.